Hello everyone and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically. So today we are diving into the world of tiny computers. Well, don't let their, small size fool you. These little guys pack a punch. We are going to compare XPI-3566-ZERO to the one and mighty Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. So these two are maybe not be the fair comparison, but I'm going to talk about that. So let's first things first. Let's open this up. So when you open the box, this is what you get. This is the board inside the anti-static bag. Take it out. There you go. So this is the board and this is the back. This is the front. Yeah, so not much of an I/O expected from computers this size, but yes, so we're gonna talk all about that with same size. And in the box we have a power adapter, which is Novo Connect, says so. And then let's check the power. It is output is 5-volt 3 amps. I didn't order it specifically, but this is literally how it arrived, so I think that's the only option. Oh, sorry, there's nothing else in the box, so we're gonna throw that away. And there is nothing in here, throw that away. So what we got here is the power supply, a USB-C cable. It's long, and then there is this Wi-Fi antenna, so which is going to go here, I believe. Yes, so let's connect that. Okay, so that's the antenna, and that's the exactly the same size. Yeah, even the pins, I believe. Yes, see, they can't even connect to each other. So yeah, they are exactly same size. And what we are going to do is we are going to compare these two. I know it's not fair, we're going to talk about that. So I would like to point out that the Raspberry Pi 2W is like 15, 20, 25 bucks. I mean, yes, it doesn't come with antenna and this, I get it, but let's go with, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks max with all this. XPI 3566-ZERO comes out to like $49 minimum, I think, is the lowest option, and goes up to $69, which is nice dollars for more storage and more RAM. There's like two options. I know in the specification and documentation they say there's like 128 gigabyte version. I didn't see that to order. It's not there on the order page. So I get it. This is not really a fair comparison, but what you gonna do, call the cops? Okay. So I'm gonna compare these anyway. So let's do that. Unfair comparison, but still we're gonna do that. These little two guys, as I said, pack a punch, right? So first, the brains. This one, actually, its brain is hidden underneath this, I assume heatsink? Is that it? I mean, it's ugly, but yeah, it's not soft, so this is some sort of heatsink, I assume. I would have placed my own, but yeah, it's very, very sticky. It's I have to pray it out, let it be there. I'm not gonna touch that. So in terms of brains, this one rocks a rock chip, RK3566 processor, a quad-core beast, which is like 1.8 gigahertz clock speed. And Raspberry Pi 2W, on the other hand, does have quad-core as well, but I think it's 1 gigahertz. And this one is using Broadcom BCM2710A1 SoC. So in terms of memory, this one goes up all the way to 8 gigabyte. Again, I'm not sure if this one was there to order. They're saying there is 8 gigabyte version. They're saying 128 gigabyte. I don't think it was there for order. And then this one, I believe, goes maximum to 512 megabyte. As for storage, this does not have any eMMC or flash storage. You go with the SD card. On this one, there is, as I said, 8 gigabyte all the way to 128 gigabyte according to them. eMMC storage, which is this right here. So that's the storage. And what else is here? And whoa, by the way, I don't like it, to be honest. I have to say it. There's no SD card slot on this one. So what you have to do in terms of booting, I was reading documentation while waiting for this to arrive. It seems like the only way to do it is through the OTG port. We're going to talk about that. Or you have to do it, flash it with a Windows tool, which I hate, that rock chip tool thing. Yeah, that's the only way you can install operating systems on this thing. So I get it. This one does not have an SD card, but here's the thing. I can put a 512 gigabyte SD card on this, or 256 gigabyte SD card on this. So anyway, in terms of connectivity, so this one is dual band. It does have Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz support. This one is only 2.4 gigahertz. Raspberry Pi, I believe, have Bluetooth 4.2. And in terms of I/O, XPI-3566-ZERO. This comes with a mini HDMI and two USB-C ports. So one is OTG, this side, and this one is PD, power delivery. So if you're a big fan of USB-C everything, this is the board for you. But this one is my same thing on the Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. This is the mini HDMI, and there's two USB mini micro USB side. So yeah, that's the difference. The other thing is they both have the CSI DSI thing in here, and on the back that's the Wi-Fi chip, and then nothing else. So on this one there is also an antenna. As I said, this one does not have that. Yeah, so then there is also the GPIO pins, which, as I said, they are identical. So GPIO pins are both 40 pin GPIO. But here's the deal. This one comes with also an integrated NPU, neural processing unit. So it does have a RKNN NPU AI accelerator, which is like one tops, like tera or trillion operations per second, and it supports one-click switching, they say, of Caffe, TensorFlow, TF Lite, Onyx, PyTorch, Keras, and Darknet. So you can do that on this one. And also this one comes with an ARM GPU. It is the ARM G52 2EE variant GPU, which supports OpenGLES 1.1 and 2.0 and 3.2, OpenCL 2.0, Vulkan 1.1, and does have embedded high-performance 2D acceleration hardware. So you can kind of play some games on this bad boy. So in summary, as I said in the beginning, if you want a cheap board that does not come with built-in storage and relies on the SD card, doesn't have too much RAM, doesn't have Wi-Fi 5, doesn't have Bluetooth 5, does have Bluetooth 4.2, no USB-C ports, no GPU, no NPU, and CPU speed capped at 1 gigahertz, but does have an amazing community, so many projects, open source projects done on this, awesome operating system images released for it, all sorts of hats for it, and so on. So you can go with this. But if you care about the other things that I mentioned, you can try this on paper. Again, I've seen this so many times. New Chinese board comes out, then all claim to be competitor to Raspberry Pi, and they are all Raspberry Pi killers. There are different versions of Raspberry Pi killers. Raspberry Pi Zero 2 killer, there's Raspberry Pi 5 killers, but then you try to use it and then it's nowhere near it. So anyway, I will talk about that. So on paper, this seems like the more powerful one for a little bit more. Maybe not a little bit, it's exactly double the price.
So enough mumbo jumbo.
Let me wire this up, and I hate that Windows tool thingy. I'm gonna flash something on this default image and connect the HDMI and the USB stuff, and I will be right back. Okay, what did I tell you, right? All the time, the claims and everything. Just let me show you. Doesn't matter. I know it might not be that important, but it's important. Look, this is the power adapter and power supply provided in the box, the original. I plugged it into power outlet, and look what happens. If I plug it to the power delivery port, nothing happens. Do you see it? See, doesn't turn on. Flip it over, doesn't turn on. Try OTG port, doesn't turn on. Absolutely not. But if I use it with a computer, I plug it to the USB port of my laptop, look what happens. If I try the PD, it turns on. If I try the OTG as well, the same thing, it turns on. So it's not good start, but I just wanted to show you that. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you. And I have another one as well in here. I just want to show you. It doesn't matter. It's no different. So if we do with power delivery, doesn't work. We do the other one, doesn't work. Throw that away, put this back in, right? Okay, now look, I put this into power delivery, turns on, and then green light comes on. Okay, so now watch it as it is booting. Okay, by the way, as it is booting, I am going to put this USB keyboard and mouse plug that in. Okay, we are back, and this is the operating system that we booted into, and problems already started rolling in already. So when you log into the Debian that they are providing it, no matter what you do, the connection to Wi-Fi does not work. Every time it comes back and asks for a password. Maybe it's a misconfiguration, maybe something needs to be done manually, maybe it does not matter at all. This is an image provided by the company. It's flashed on this eMMC, does not work. So it keeps coming back asking for a Wi-Fi password, even though I provided the correct password. Just we're starting that way. The second problem is there is no XFCE terminal, right? So default is extern, and default it had Chinese characters. And even if I wanted to do dpkg reconfigure locale, it was not working. I will show some if I have some footage. I didn't capture it, unfortunately. It wasn't working anyway. So what I had to do was just barely getting the XFCE4 terminal installed so I can see some characters, then do dpkg locale reconfigure, and then I was able to go also remove this let me show you bash rc file and comment these out. Then and only then I was able to basically use the board. And still, as you can see, the Wi-Fi absolutely never ever does not connect. It just doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi. So I have to manually go and do this myself every single time from the command line. I am sure there is a solution. I don't care about that. That's the problem. It has to work on its own default image. I just install an operating system. I'm entering the password. It should connect. So what you have to do is basically IP link, set WLAN 0 down and then up, and then WPA supplicant WLAN 0, and the file is supplicant.conf. Yeah, let's find WLAN 0. Okay, so now we are finally connected to Wi-Fi after all that struggle. Yeah, so unacceptable, just to start with. Now, let me install a bunch of packages and let's try some things out. Okay, here is the NeoFetch. So Debian 11 broken, and also I keep seeing artifacts on the screen. I'm gonna for now ignore that. So Rockchip RK3566 evaluation board, and then this is the kernel 510. This is the screen resolution, and so on. So yeah, this is the 4 gig RAM version, 4-core CPU. So 4 gig RAM. Remember, the Raspberry Pi is 512 megabytes. So and then let's do some small benchmarks very quickly. Okay, the benchmark is over, and it is kind of expected from the CPU, and it is very hot in here. So let me install some temperature sensor thing. Okay, let's continue with the benchmarks. Let's do a sysbench. Okay, as you can see, it is 2661. So Raspberry Pi 5 and other RK3588S SoCs usually average 10K plus. So some number between 10,000 and 11,000. And this one is 1/4 of RK3588S or Raspberry Pi 5. Totally expected, but I'm gonna be honest, this is a little bit, impressive. The number is high. It is running hot, as you can see on the temperature sensor over there. And yeah, still I'm gonna say it is hot. It is high. So let's do the last stress NG. Okay, so this is 212, and this is also 1/4. Yes, the RK3588 and Raspberry Pi 5 averages around 870, 900 for the stress NG, this test, the matrix prod, but this is 212. So yeah, literally 1/4. So this is 1/4 of the Raspberry Pi 5. But if you compare that to Raspberry Pi 2.0, yeah, it's crushing it. But as I said, there are so many problems with it. So that's just one more thing. Okay, while we are building the GL mark, let's do a speed test. I just want to see if the Wi-Fi is actually fast. I'm not expecting too much. I can already see it's really slow, but let's test it anyway. Okay, I am not going to wait too long, I guess, because this is probably going to take forever, but I just want to show you. Let me close this as well. All right, so we got the GL Mark score of 124. This one is 1/6 of the RK3588, but I'm gonna be honest, it's still impressive having a GPU in this size computer. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. And by the way, I hope you are seeing this. Yeah, we're getting a lot of artifacts on the screen when you are just using the computer. So let's do a speed test for checking the Wi-Fi speed. Okay, not great, not that bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
We get 55 to 100 megabyte per second in upload and download. Yeah, I have gigabit connection, so it's also the Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 6.5, and the speed is limited to what the board itself. So let's see if we can play any YouTube videos. Okay, let's go up one by one. Let's go 720, 60 frame per second. Wow, okay. Not bad, not great. It's doing fine. It's dropping, but it's not that bad. It's okay. Yeah, barely 720, 60 frame per second it can play. So obviously I'm not even gonna attempt the other ones. It is suffering through this one. And this temperature, as you can see, it's already very high. So yeah, this is kind of the limit, 720. So it is totally understandable. Again, this is not for something that you want to play, you know, high resolution, high frame rate video footage on. But yeah, so that's the scores. And as I said, the powering doesn't work. DPKG configure locale stuff was really hard to get working. It had a lot of issues with that. Let me see if I can figure some other things out in this, some other examples. Let me bring up the manual and continue from there. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and I don't really have a lot of good news. That's why my mighty Tesla coil gun is out again. So that last time I think I used it on the Chinese motherboard or the hack board, but yeah, I think we're gonna use it again. So here's the deal. So let's say you want to download the firmware image from the Debian, right? This is from the official website of the product. You click on this, it will take you to this page. You click on the download link, and this is what you get. So the Debian from the official link does not work. I downloaded from different URL, does not matter. The official web page is broken. That's number one. Number two, the manuals just simply suck. So I just tried all three apps that is there, the GUVC View, the Cheese, and the V4L2 test bench. Every single app that can interact with the camera, and I inserted a camera that works with the Raspberry Pi Zero 2, and absolutely not. I cannot take a photo. I cannot get it to work with this board at all. I could never turn that on and take a picture from the camera. Maybe something is amiss, but it's just not documented enough, and I can't figure it out. I can't spend a lot of time on that. So I couldn't get that to work. Another problem is actually the documentation for the build guide, actually, for building your own Linux thing, right? So Linux system manual, not this one. This is another one, by the way. Look at this. This is a firmware tool, right? You click on this link. Yeah. And there you go. Same thing. Broken link in the manual PDF itself. So just wanted to see that. Another thing is that they have a Linux build guide, right? So you will be able to basically, that they're saying is you will be able to download and install and build your own Linux Debian and flash it to this. Let me show you what happens if you attempt to do that. Okay, take a look at this. Are you seeing this? Okay, let me show you. So this is the guide, right? You have to follow, and apparently you just download the, zip file for Linux firmware. You run it. As you can see, at the end of the day, I was able to build an update image which I can flash onto this computer. The problem is half the things they were saying is missing a step or it does not work, so I had to tweak around and fix and patch things up in order to get it to work. Here you can see the U-boot one. It was complaining about a Python package It was installed in the system, but the check they wrote in the build.sh in U-boot folder was broken. So it always thought that the package, Python package PYELF something is broken. I had to manually patch that to get it moving. So that was the first step, problem number one. In the kernel side, there was a lot of problems again in the config files and the way that it was downloading packages. It was using live build. It wasn't working, so I had to fix that. Same thing with the Debian. Live build was not working. I had to change and remove some parameters. I even upgraded to different version of the live build, still didn't affect it. And then at the end here it says just run for packing everything together, run the firmware and update image. So firmware worked, but at the update image there is no step for recovery. So without recovery it was failing again. So either you have to remove that part where it's looking for the recovery, or you have to build the recovery, which is completely missing in this guide. So basically you have to do is /build.sh recovery. So you have to build the recovery and then build the update image. I can't tell you, like, I spent a lot of time just to get to this point where I was able to finally successfully build the update.img, create my own Linux image, which is like 3.7 gigabyte. It's right here, as you can see, right? So I copied that over the VirtualBox and to be able to flash it into this computer. The other problem is that the compiling takes a very long time. So every time something goes wrong and it's like already 60% of the down compilation, now you have to wait again for a lot of things to be done from scratch. And yeah, finally I was able to install it after installing a lot of things, and they require you to have a Ubuntu 18. Yeah, Ubuntu 18. It's somewhere in here. It says in red text that you need to have. Oh yeah, here. So it says, yeah, Ubuntu 18.04 is required. And then they give you a bunch of apt packages to install, right? Again, half these were missing. So I had to install many of them manually myself. So I don't remember exactly what, but a couple of packages were missing. I had to install those. It shows you when it errors out, it tells you you're missing this package, that package. Anyway, the point is there are a lot of failures and a lot of things that you need to do, and this manual is not complete. And there are, you know, very funny broken English stuff in here. I understand, but you know, you just copy paste the, you know, paragraph into ChatGPT and get it done, man. There is no excuse now to have all sorts of broken English in a manual. You can just use ChatGPT and improve, you know, your manual, your paragraphs, your text, and all that. So many, you know, even typos is filled with typos and stuff in this document. Yeah, that's gonna be like nitpicking. It's normal in this day and age, and it happens a lot of manuals, especially Chinese boards. But anyway, you can now tell, right, why people are not going to buy stuff like this, right? Like boards like this. So this is the XPI-3566. Why people buy this? And why people buy this, the Raspberry Pi, the cheaper version, the older version. This just came out. This came out like 2-3 years ago. So the point is that when you go with something like this, you always know that it is just going to work. That's the thing, right? I don't have to spend half a day fixing your manual that does not work, that doesn't follow what you are preaching, right? What you're saying in your own documents, right? So this is the document. I have to go through it. You know, it should run. It just should run. You told me Ubuntu 18. I installed Ubuntu 18, and I went through the step by step. It still did not work. And there were a lot of errors and things that I had to fix and patch and work around it. And it's unacceptable. On top of that, in your own website, the links to download the images are broken. And who hosts their images on Google? I mean, in Mega, like Mega Share. I don't know. Mega Upload, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. Like, this is unprofessional. Let's just call it that. And yeah, half the links are broken. Support is broken, I guess. I still haven't received a response. If I get it in 2-3 days, I maybe put something in the comment section that they reached out to me. Maybe I get this link fixed. I just told them the links is broken and the manual is broken. Everything is broken. So let's see if they're gonna fix anything. And yeah, so the point is, I know it is more powerful, but lack of SD card really sucks because I can't expand it any further. Whatever they gave to me, like whatever I bought, like I bought a 64, that's all I get. I won't be able to increase the storage at all. In Raspberry Pi, I can always install a bigger SD card and have more storage. I know it's less powerful, but it just works. There are so many open source projects, so many images, Debian, Ubuntu, all flavors. You can flash and run on that thing and it will work. Every camera, this camera, if I put it on this and turn it on, it's just gonna work. Everything. So honestly, I did not like this board even a little bit. I wasted so much time. I get it. You saw the scores and results. You saw how it was doing in terms of GL Mark and you know, the suspension 7Z and the stress energy, all that stuff. That's okay. But Wi-Fi is slow. Yeah, another problem, Wi-Fi. It just doesn't connect. Every single time I reboot, it asks me to enter the password again, and I have entered the correct password. Something, maybe some config file somewhere. I don't care. I'm not gonna spend time fixing it. I ran it. It's Wi-Fi, man. This is 2024. I click on Wi-Fi SSID, enter the password, it should connect. That's it. So it's a big no-no from me. If you want more powerful, there are other powerful boards this size that are competitor to Raspberry Pi. But again, I think Raspberry Pi will, you know, prevail and be better even from those. But I did not like this board slightest bit. I just wanted to show you that. But at least you saw the scores, you saw the benchmarks, you saw how you can build the Linux version. I didn't show much. If you want me to, I can record a video and show you things I had to fix and patch, but I don't think you should be buying this, honestly. I didn't like it the slightest bit. Anyway, sorry for this annoying board, and I don't want to make this video any longer. It's not worth it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Best thing to do to this board is this. Yeah, just like that. Bye.